Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack and flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. We got most hated versus most loved comedians. Another controversial Sunny V2 video.
Most hated versus most.
I wonder what aspect are we looking at? Like, what lens are we looking at? You know what I'm saying? Are we talking about from the fans? Or are we talking about from colleagues? You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes a good comedian is also a hated comedian. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a love comedian, people love their jokes, but doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So,
or is it like from like the way that like they act outside of like?
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Well, like, what scope of lens are we viewing it from? Yeah,
I'm just adding on.
No, I'm just reiterating. I'm like, you can go from different scopes of the lens with this one. So with that being said, before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go, man. You want to first support, all you have to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's visuals,
like it with a thumbs up.
Yeah, I stumbled. I messed up. Yeah, it's okay. Players fuck up. Hey, man, with that being said, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go, man.
For every 5 admired comedians, there's another 5 who are completely despised, and it's no secret that joke thief Dane Cook fits snugly into category 2. In 2005, Dane Cook was listed as the world's most famous comic, although despite being known by an audience...
I said, damn, we going joke thieves? Why ever since Catden came out about stealing jokes, I'm seeing so many clips about people stealing jokes, and I'm like, dang, it's really like that. But, because DL was talking about it, and he was just like, you know what I'm saying, everybody's inspired, especially as comedy keeps growing, everybody's inspired by somebody. Mm-hmm. But I think the way you perfect being a comedian is being able to come up with, like, organic, original material that best represents you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
5, Dane Cook was listed as the world's most famous comic, although despite being known by an audience of millions, he was notably hated by every other comedian. A comedy radio host stated, "Not one comedian comes on my show and says I'm so happy for him, which is weird. They can't stand this poor guy, the reason for which being jealousy, at least according to Dane."
A lot of jealousy, a lot of animosity that I, at a young age, was famous, hanging around with beautiful women, rich.
Although the real reason might have been because Dane had stolen their jokes, given he was called out for copying a bit done by Louis C.K.
You can name your kid anything you want. I like that part. I like to give my kid an interesting name, you know? Like a name with no vowels, maybe, you know? Just like 40 Fs, that's his name.
I already have names picked out. I don't even know. First kid, boy, girl, I don't care. The first one that comes out, I'm naming it. I think it's beautiful. It's feminine but strong at the same time. Time for bed. I said time for bed.
Fans then noticed Dane had also copied a bit by Dimitri Martin at around the same time.
I went into a shoe store and I said, hey, can I get those in a 10? The guy said, sure, and he went in the back. Then a couple minutes later he came out and he goes, I don't have a 10, I have a 9. Great. Because while you were in the back, my toes were severed off.
She walks out. She comes up to me, you guys, so enthusiastic, such like optimism. She's holding a boot. She comes right up to me and she goes, we have it in a 9. Great. You guys also have a bone saw anywhere nearby?
With Patrick CC running through even more examples in this video before touching on another reason Dane Cook is hated, his joke about the Batman movie theater shooting.
So I heard that the guy came into the theater about 25 minutes into the movie. I don't know if you've seen the movie. The movie's pretty much a piece of crap. Pretty sure that somebody in that theater about 25 minutes in realizing it was a piece of crap probably was like, oh, shoot me.
The controversial joke resulted in article after article, as well as Twitter posts reading,
"That was a horrible joke."
Yeah.
Because I understand comedians like to take like tragedy and kind of make a comedic feel about a tragic situation to kind of lighten the mood. That's the reason why you might see people make jokes about 9/11. Mm-hmm. And and now we can kind of laugh at it, but still feel the traumatic experience from it. But it still kind of some people can still take a comedic approach to it. You know what I'm saying? Like Family Guy do it all the time, and we laugh at it. We in a shock matter, but we don't hold it. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of times it has to do with timing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of traumatic experience. I'll say this. A lot of times, reason why people can possibly laugh at situations that are traumatic is because it didn't happen to them.
Yeah.
They didn't feel it directly.
Yeah.
But anytime they feel it directly,
then it's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
But sometimes having like a comical outlook at it, you can kind of laugh at certain situations, like a passing, and you reminiscing on certain things, but you might make a joke about it. Mm-hmm. Like, say for instance, your grandma be like, "Yeah, I know she was ready to go because she couldn't stand y'all motherfucker." That's a comedic approach to her death, but it's to make light of the situation, and there's nothing to, you know what I'm saying? So, but in that situation, depending on when the joke was told, I honestly didn't like the way it was told, but also it depends on when it was told.
True.
Anyone who knows me knows I think Dane Cook is the single worst comedian ever. He's never been funny. Now he's just an awful human being. But while Dane Cook isn't liked for his disrespectful and sometimes stolen jokes, Theo Von is hailed for his unusual originality. His sense of humor has been described as so creative, unique, hilarious, and unorthodox that I can't compare him to any other comedian, which summarizes Theo Von perfectly.
There's a few guys, Theo's one of them, that have like a style of comedy that you will never be able to explain to someone. They gotta go see him.
When you hear him say, "We had this one guy," you know you're about to hear a wild story full of bizarre situations and metaphors described in the strangest yet most perfect way possible.
This gentleman had half a limb, and
which limb?
He was missing part of his leg, I think, or he said he was, so he could have been faking it.
CGI or something?
I don't know what his name was. CJ, it was a white dude.
Okay, yeah.
He's the absolute king of the metaphor. Whenever he says something is kinda like etc., it's always the funniest, most outlandish comparison I've ever heard.
You look like a guy if somebody had a cheat code in Double Dragon, bro. And they got to use an ultimate character, man.
Dan Tony.
Amen, dude.
There are multiple compilations dedicated to Theo Von's absolutely wild sayings, although at the same time he's able to show his softer, more vulnerable side in moments where it's appropriate. Theo's podcast this past weekend has risen to become the 7th most popular podcast on Spotify, while Brendan Schaub's bad reputation has caused his podcast to trend.
Wait, have we ever, I think we only heard one or two jokes from Theo. I have honestly, personally, never really tapped into Theo like that. You know,
have we?
What's the Asian?
Probably.
What's the Asian dude? The Asian dude that got a podcast. What's his name? Bobby something? I think we done laughed at his ass before. Never came across him, but I didn't know he was like a comedian like that. But is it his name?
I don't know.
I cannot. Maybe he's in here in one of these. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, let me see.
Because don't he have a podcast too? Don't give me the line, bro. I don't want to seem like that guy.
Yeah, his name Bobby Lee.
Okay.
Bobby
But
Lee.
I never tuned into. I've seen Theo name thrown around a lot. Came across him.
Yeah, I've come across him,
but never really checked out his content.
In, his content, yeah.
Opposite direction. Brennan had previously been a UFC fighter. However, after a string of losses, he was convinced by Joe Rogan and Brian Callen to retire and instead pursue comedy.
You have a future in other things and you're really good at. Like, you're really funny.
You say funny shit, man.
Yeah, you do. You have a ridiculous talent for that.
Although with comments on Brennan's stand-up like, "This is the best example of normal people thinking they're funny because they make their friends laugh," his sets aren't exactly the greatest. His first stand-up special, titled You'd Be Surprised, received an IMDb rating of 1.4 out of 10 stars and was labeled in front of millions as the worst comedy special I've ever seen. It was so bad that even Joe Rogan made a few little jokes about it.
The first one, I would have probably tried to talk you out of it, but I already talked you out of fighting. Yeah. And I was like, I can't talk him out of this too.
However, for Brendan, the worst was yet to come. 3 years after his first special, Brendan Schaub released another one titled Gringo Papi, which received an even lower IMDb score of 1.1 out of 10 10 stars, meaning he was unable to sell it to a major buyer like Netflix. Instead, he uploaded the special to his YouTube channel, where it received an 85% dislike ratio and comments such as, "Damn, this guy sure has some hidden talent. Hope he finds it one day. Every time I feel down, I watch Gringo Papi. Then I realize whatever has me down or whatever adversity I am facing isn't as bad as this comedy special. You know it's a Brennan Schaub stand-up special when the comments are funnier than the actual video." With the stand-up again being labeled as the worst comedy special of all time, it seems Brennan's main problem is that he isn't very skilled, and the audience has therefore been grabbed.
I'm gonna have to look.
You can't shit on me after you tell me I should pursue it.
Like, you done talked me out of, you done said I done went over here and now you said, damn, I shouldn't have told him that. I was just playing. But I'm gonna have to go see. Like, is it that bad? My goodness.
Because I say this, not everybody's meant to be a comedian. And I don't think you should just go out here and try to do a crowd.
Yeah.
I still, like, personally, I still believe in the old-fashioned way of being solidified as a comedian. You going on those open mic nights, and you doing those, and you building yourself up on a comedy, like in the comedy lane, as far as going city to city, state to state, and you doing it in those little small hole in the wall kind. Because if you can make those motherfuckers laugh, because a lot of those be drunk, like they gonna tell it how it is. Those gonna be the honest people. I feel like, because you could, like, I say this. You can be a comedian and not actually be funny, right? Mm-hmm. You can be a successful comedian and not actually be funny. And you can be funny as hell, but not actually be a good comedian. Mm-hmm. But it takes a true talent to be actually a true comedian and be funny as hell. Because I can give some examples, but I don't feel like Art going back and forth with people in the comments, because some of y'all already ignorant when it comes down to some things. So, but there are people who get booked for movies, do movies and everything, and they're not really funny. Mm-hmm. It's just you're told that they're funny, so you go in and mentally believe that they're funny when they're actually not. Yeah. And you have people who are actually funny and are successful as a comedian, and I'll be like, okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But everybody ain't meant to be a comedian just because you're funny. And it seems as though he was probably funny and who told good jokes behind the ring. They'd be like, "Oh man, you should actually."
But I do feel like it's like a skill with knowing how to like transition to like the next, like fit in this, like draw it back, like, or just like depending on what type of comedian you are you telling like a story? Like, are you a good storyteller? And you like bringing it in? Like, what we doing?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of good,
And some people can do that. Some people can do that just naturally amongst the circle of their people. Yeah. And they be like, "Oh, bro, you should be like," you be like, "Nah." Cause trust me, I personally know people who wanted to be comedians. Yeah. And I knew for a fact they're not. But I was like, I could see a lane for you to go in, but that's not the lane you seeking. And I was just like, I can't. But you know what I'm talking about.
Heading towards Shane Gillis. He got his big break in 2019 after being cast on Saturday Night Live, which he was then fired from immediately after the media dug up controversial comments made on his podcast.
And then I got canceled immediately.
You got canceled on the way.
They literally were like, "How about this guy?" And everyone was like, "No."
Shane responded by writing, "I'm a comedian who pushes boundaries. Sometimes I miss. If you go through my 10 years of comedy, most of it bad, you're going to find a lot of bad misses. But while this made him unsuitable for SNL, this was ironically exactly what the wider comedy audience wanted. No wonder SNL fired him, he's actually funny." This, in combination with the mountains of press from the incident, took Shane's popularity to a whole new level.
The months after SNL, our listenership probably quadrupled, because then people heard about it and watched it.
So it's helped the podcast.
Like, this is actually funny.
So it's helped the podcast.
Tremendously.
Only made crazier when he'd post his live set in Austin, which gained over 20 million views by touching on funny political topics, although in a good way where it felt like he didn't have an agenda.
And I don't want to be on the other side of it, where it's like, I'm a free speech guy. It's like, dude, I don't want to be involved in any of this. I just want to do comedy.
Shane's great attitude and likable personality has made him the most subscribed person on Patreon with around 75,000 paid members, in comparison to Carrot Top, who's...
Yo, them numbers look good. I'm a very statistic person. But I'll say this, at the end of the day, I like one thing he did say. He said, "I don't want to be in this and this and this. I just want to do what I want to do." and that's to be a comedian.
Yeah.
And I just want to fail at it. He said he's been doing it for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
He's bombed. He had his bad and he had his good, but the good allows you to build up to be better.
Right.
So I would like to check him out though. Have you seen him before?
I think I have.
I've visually seen him before. I just never knew.
So unique, the whole industry turned against him. He gained popularity as a prop comic in the 90s, but while his shows were extremely smart and absolutely hilarious,
O.J. Simpson's football. Okay, go deep, honey. Go deep.
his bizarre look and style made him a punching bag for anybody and everybody.
You're a funny guy, man, and you at least used to take a lot of shit, and I never understood it.
I don't either. I would get shit for everything.
It's like Nickelback.
This became most obvious when Carrot Top simply flew over his city in a fighter jet.
And the next day on the front page of the paper, Carrot Top disrupts city with flyover. And everyone's up in arms because the building shook and everybody was oh, what, there's a war happening? and I think they were really, honestly, just pissed because it was me.
And in a Reddit thread talking about him, the only reasons people had to hate Carrot Top was he's annoying, not funny, and comes across as a gigantic douchebag, which pretty much confirms the theory. Carrot Top's name has become synonymous with bad comedian we should make fun of. In another article, Carrot Top was described as the most successful comedian no one will admit to liking, with one of these haters being another comedy legend.
So is Billboard just going coals on me? I mean, just right? I mean, just bad.
Who then apologized to Carrot Top after meeting him in person.
And then when I finally meet him, he was like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, he came and hugged me. And
Carrot Top was hated for so long that he's now considered a legend.
They're kind of like saying, you know what, geez, he won't go away. We've been ripping on him, but he's for some reason, he's still around, and you know what, he can stay now.
You had somebody
earn my wings.
With Bobby Lee having earned his wings.
Do you think Carrot Top is like the most famous redhead ever? Because every time somebody talks about a redhead, you know what? It's either him or what's the country singer? Reba.
Oh.
It got to be him or Reba. It has to be. It's one of them. Like Ed Sheeran, yeah, he had, but Carrot Top and Reba been around way longer.
Yeah.
But Carrot Top at one point was that when they talk about a redhead person, they always bring up Carrot Top.
Yeah.
I'm like, and they be like, "You right?" You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah. But Carrot Top, honestly, I always knew him for being a comedian.
Yeah.
But I never drew to him as a comedian because I never even growing up, I never thought he was funny. I just was he a funny looking dude.
Yeah.
But I never thought he was funny.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I honestly didn't understand the success of him growing up.
Honestly, I can't say if I think he's funny or not because I really haven't. I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
You can't recall
any. Yeah, I can't recall.
No, I'm just.
I can't. I can't recall listening to any of his
comedy or anything.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would I have been.
But I remember seeing him on stuff back in the day.
Yeah, I remember seeing him on stuff, but I can't really remember any of his punchlines or anything of his show. I can't remember anything to say. Oh, he's funny.
But you know the name and the face.
Yeah, I know his name and I know his face.
That's the reason why I said he probably is the most popular redhead of all time because you don't remember him from his work, but you just
know him. You
know who he is.
Yeah.
Which could be a bad thing, though.
In a similar kind of way. One of the things that makes Bobby Lee so likable is his ability to laugh at himself for the sake of audience entertainment.
Bro, you're the worst looking of all of us.
What do you think he is out of 10, for real?
You're a 2, buddy.
2, buddy.
You're like a 2.5 at most, probably closer to a 1.5.
Give me a bigger number.
Okay. You want an honest number?
No, honest.
Okay. You want the honest number?
Please.
I was being generous as a 1.5.
I'm a 1.5?
Something close to 1.7.
Just say 1.
Showing that he's comfortable in his own skin. This helps him deliver some of the most savage roasts on the internet.
My dad abandoned me, but then I love my mom. In your face! He doesn't have a dad.
And just like Theo Von, his fans also have a lot of respect for how open he is with his addiction issues and sobriety.
Right before I was gonna get on the plane, I looked at my girlfriend and said, I'm going to relapse.
When it comes to Bobby Lee's stand-up, a Reddit user wrote, I've seen him do the same set at the Comedy Store like 3 or 4 times, and I nearly cried laughing each time, while another person called it the hardest I've laughed at a comedy show of a decent slate of shows. It seems Bobby Lee finds love from the audience regardless of what he's doing, while the audience has recently been finding...
We spoke on Bobby Lee earlier. I just think Bobby Lee is very stupid. Like, in a funny way, like...
Yeah.
Not like just, oh, he's stupid, but he's
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying, but they don't. Because you know.
Some do.
Like, oh,
yeah.
Like,
but I just feel like every time I was come across, I was like, man, this man's so stupid. You remember like some of the Try Not to Laugh clips he was in, and they were telling like jokes, like the dad jokes and shit. I'd be like, bro, this man is just stupid. Like, and I feel like he's one of them friends that you just hang around with. You be like, and he'll say some stupid ass shit. You know,
like you could be down, like dude.
He come off very down to earth.
No. I was saying you can be down, like in your and then him being around, he just say some off the walls, and you like, man, I can't even be sad right now. But yeah.
Reasons to hate Tom Segura. At the start of his career, Tom Segura was one of the more humble comedians. However, after losing over 50 pounds and building a net worth of 12 million, his ego became incredibly obvious. He'd begin to joke about the general population by calling them poors.
So I've received a remarkable number of messages, countless poor people, about the use of a washcloth in the shower. And, you know, it's kind of well known, it's what poors do.
However, it quickly became obvious that he wasn't really joking.
Every time we talk about like a wash.
My bad, y'all. Baby, I'm just a little rough. But you know, the other day when I was telling you, this is what I was talking about.
I got you.
Quickly became obvious that he wasn't really joking.
Every time we talk about like a watch or a car, I'll get a bunch of messages from losers that try to tell me that I'm making them feel bad about their situation. I'm struggling with rent this month. Figure it the f*** out.
In October 2023, Tom tweeted about being inconvenienced by American Airlines, and after being called entitled by his fans, Tom responded by stating all the poors and losers have the same response. Oh, you were inconvenienced, well, you should accept it. That's what me and my dumb poor family have done for generations. This is why you're poor. In his next tweet, he'd respond to a fan by simply writing poor, while a third tweet read, the lowest level poors get upset, as they've been trained to do when you point out they're happy to do what I'm told servant mentality. They don't value time because their time is worthless. You are specks of shit on a washcloth, and washcloths belong in the trash. The rant instantly turned Tom into laughingstock for the internet.
Probably not that much money left over for the guys in the booth either.
Oh,
it's all Tom and Christina just running around, getting on private jets, making fun of poor people.
While others dug deep to find his wealth was likely inherited.
It turns out Tom was a trust fund kid. His father was the vice president and chief financial advisor of Merrill Lynch for 25 years, until he took over as the vice president and CFA for the Bank of America. His obituary mentions that he was a member of the Quail Valley Golf Club in Vero Beach, where a membership will run you a very modest $85,000 a year, not counting all of the other fees.
This led Tom to remove the entire chain of airport tweets and avoid every question that might imply he's rich.
What kind of car you have?
What kind?
You have cars?
Yeah,
How many cars you got? You alright?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking.
Tom Segura has no excuse for being a douchebag, given Gabriel Iglesias is
Yeah, that's my boy right here.
Yeah, I love
But the other dude, he just come on, he just a spoiled asshole.
douchebag.
Like, ain't nothing else you can say about it. Is he supposed to be a comedian?
I don't know what he's supposed to be. I
think
don't
we
know.
used the label comedian loosely though.
Yeah, I just came across like a clip of him talking about. Yeah,
But I do feel like we use the term comedian very loosely nowadays.
Richer and is one of the most humble comedians. When you type Gabriel Iglesias controversy into Google, it seems the worst thing he's ever done is pay a fine to a venue for spending too much time recording a Netflix special. Back in 2014, one of these specials was leaked and uploaded to YouTube for free, although instead of issuing a copyright takedown, he'd share the links to his Facebook adding, "I can't believe someone posted a direct link to watch my fluffy specials online for free. The nerve. I hope no one shares or watches these before before they get taken down, prompting a top comment reading, "This is why you're awesome, Fluffy. You don't whine about getting pirated, you promote it." Gabriel's nickname Fluffy is a joke about his own weight, which like Bobby Lee shows he's comfortable in his own skin, although at the same time Gabriel explained to Joe Rogan that he'd recently lost 70 pounds as a result of following better habits, and it was bad habits that led Carlos Mencia to become incredibly hated. The collapse of his reputation began after Joe Rogan wrote a blog post titled "Carlos Mencia is a weak-minded joke thief," which read, "The latest and most disgusting joke thief of all is a guy named Carlos Mencia. The really crazy thing is that's not even his real name. He sells himself as being Mexican, but the reality is his real name is Ned Holness, and he's actually half German and half Honduran. The Mexican hook is something he did to integrate himself with the local Mexican population of LA where he started. From here, Joe began calling him Carlos Menstelia before confronting him on stage in an actual comedy club, which was recorded and uploaded to YouTube.
It's easy to say you steal shit, but I don't, because I'm not a little bitch. I think that every time you open your mouth, you talk about me, I think that you're secretly in love with me."
Despite denying the allegations, Carlos was then exposed for stealing from Bill Cosby and Ari Shaffir, after which Carlos made the crazy decision to own the fact that he stole all his jokes.
His attitude was this, like, yeah, I steal. If I'm in the back of the room, you better watch your material, because I'll take it, remix it, and make it a hit.
From here, almost every comedian destroyed.
That's fucked up, though. But that is true. That's how they do it, though. They take it, remix it, put it on a bigger platform, and now it's a hit.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Mencia.
A lot of your material, I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of your material was too similar to Paul Mooney or Bill Hicks.
And he went from performing in stadiums to small clubs. There's a heavy price to pay for cutting corners in comedy, whereas Chris Rock discovered there's much to gain in the power of a single slap. Chris Rock has been admired and respected since the mid-1980s, although it seems being slapped by Will Smith made him even more loved. Ironically, the Will Smith slap made Chris a beloved winner. Will Smith accomplished the impossible with one targeted slap. Now everybody loves Chris. This was reinforced when Dave Chappelle was attacked on stage, after which Chris Rock jumped on the mic to ask,
"Was that Will Smith?"
Chris Rock just proved that if someone does you wrong in life, just wait, and the perfect moment will present itself. Proud of Chris Rock. He didn't let the Will Smith incident take him to a place of bitterness and anger, but stays humble and even makes a joke out of such a difficult spot to be in. There could not have a more perfect moment to drop that line, and the fact that Chris Rock wasn't really talking about the altercation before leading up to this just adds to the perfection of his delivery, and when Chris Rock did address the controversy in his special, he reinforced a winner's mindset.
But I'm not a victim, baby. You will never see me on Oprah or Gail. I couldn't believe it, and I love Men in Black. No, I took that hit like Pacquiao.
I don't think Chris capitalized off it appropriately, though. I would have liked Chris to drop another movie or something. You know what I'm saying? While your name is buzzing, I put it, because I think he waited too long to capitalize it. But a lot of people would have, he would have had the negative, like you only doing something because, so, I don't know. I think he should have capitalized.
Like with a lot of situations like damn if you do, damn if you don't. So you just kind of do it on your own time and when you're ready.
But I think Chris has did so fucking much.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
Like he's been a movie star for so long, especially like my childhood. I really grew up on Chris Rock. Like a lot of his stuff, like, hey, but I don't know. That's to each his own, man. But a lot of these comedians haven't heard before. A lot of them have heard before. So I'm gonna do some little research afterwards.
The only one that I really haven't heard of is that one that I said that he had like the 1.1 star ratings or something. I'm gonna have to go check that out and see if it's that bad.
About that one. Yeah,
like if it's that bad, yeah. But
but hey man, y'all spam us up. If it's a bad comedian on here that y'all actually think is good, let us know in the comment section down below so we can check them out. But as always, I do go by the name DJ Kiddis.
Here no
had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money low, get my team strong. Let me run away